Before fertilizer existed. Before Miracle-Gro. Before any of that stuff in a plastic bag at your local hardware store. People were growing food. Real food. Enough food to carry an entire family through a brutal winter, through droughts, through floods, through everything nature could throw at them. And they did it with something most Americans throw straight into the trash every single Friday night after dinner. I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Exactly how it works. And exactly how you can use it in your own backyard, whether you've got a quarter-acre or a couple of 5-gallon buckets on a porch. But first, I need to tell you a story. Because this technique has a history. And that history is the reason it works so well. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll never look at your garden, or your kitchen scraps, the same way again. This technique goes back at least 400 years. The Wampanoag people, right there in New England, in what is now Massachusetts, they taught it to the Pilgrims in 1621. And those Pilgrims? They survived their first American winter because of it. The Wampanoag had been farming this land for thousands of years before anyone else arrived. They understood the soil on a level that modern agriculture still hasn't fully caught up with. They called their main growing system the Three Sisters. Corn, squash, and beans, planted together in a way that made each one stronger. The corn grew tall and gave the beans something to climb. The beans pulled nitrogen from the air and fed it into the ground. The squash spread wide and kept the weeds down and the moisture in. It was a perfect system. A living, breathing garden that fed itself. But there was a fourth element. A secret ingredient that nobody talks about in the history books. Every time they planted, every single time, they buried something underneath. Fish. Not fancy fish. Not treated, processed, packaged fish. Just raw fish. Heads, bones, guts, whatever was left after a meal by the river. And that small act, that one simple thing, is what made their harvests extraordinary. Now here's what most people still don't understand about why this works. And this is where things get genuinely interesting. When you bury organic matter deep in the soil, we're talking about 6 to 8 inches down, something remarkable starts happening almost immediately. The microbes already living in your soil go to work. Millions of them. Billions. And fish is one of the most nutrient-dense things you can give them to break down. Fish is loaded with nitrogen. The kind of nitrogen that makes leaves go dark green and lush. It's packed with phosphorus, the mineral that drives root development and flower production. And it has calcium, potassium, and trace minerals that your tomatoes, peppers, and squash are literally starving for in most backyards. And here's the key difference, the thing that separates this from a bag of synthetic fertilizer. It releases slowly. Over 4 to 6 weeks, that fish breaks down and feeds your plant in a steady, consistent stream. It doesn't burn your roots. It doesn't wash away in the first heavy rain. It just keeps working, quietly, underground, the way nature intended. Now let me show you exactly how to do this. Step by step. No guessing. Step 1. Dig your planting hole first. You want it about 12 inches deep and 10 inches wide. Go deeper than you think you need to. The depth is everything. Step 2. Drop your fish scraps in the bottom. Fish heads work best because of the high oil content. More oil means more slow-release nutrition. But any fish part works. Whole small fish work. Canned sardines in a pinch, just make sure there's no added oil or salt. Plain water-packed sardines are perfect. Step 3. Cover the fish with 3 to 4 inches of plain garden soil. Not compost yet. Plain soil. That layer creates a barrier between the fish and your plant's roots so the roots don't hit the decomposing matter before it's ready. Step 4. Now add your compost layer. 2 to 3 inches of whatever compost you've got. If you don't have compost, use aged leaves or grass clippings. Step 5. Plant your seedling right on top. Firm the soil around it. Water it in gently. That's the whole method. It takes about 10 minutes per plant. It costs you nothing if you're already eating fish at home. And it will outperform most store-bought fertilizers you've ever tried. Now, here's where it gets wild. Because I haven't even told you the most important part yet. I said the fish feeds your plant for weeks. That's true. But that's not even the most powerful thing happening underground. The real magic, the thing the old farmers knew intuitively, and that soil scientists are now proving in labs, is what the fish does to your soil structure. As the fish breaks down, it creates a zone of intense biological activity. Microbes multiply. Fungi spread their threads. And then the earthworms come. Not just a few earthworms. Dozens of them. Sometimes hundreds, concentrated right around your planting zone. And here's why that matters more than any fertilizer on Earth. Those earthworms tunnel. They move through your soil constantly, opening up tiny channels. Those channels carry water deeper. They carry oxygen to the roots. They create a loose, airy structure that lets roots grow fast and reach wide. One fish head doesn't just feed one plant. It transforms the soil around that plant into a living ecosystem that will keep producing for years. I've talked to gardeners all across this country. In the red clay hills of Alabama. In the rocky Appalachian soil of eastern Tennessee. In the heavy black earth of rural Ohio. And they all say the same thing. The difference isn't just in the fruit you pick at the end of the season. It's in the soil itself. Do this for one growing season and your ground changes. The texture changes. The color changes, darker, richer. The smell changes, that deep, earthy smell that tells you something alive is happening below. Now, I know some of you are already asking. You're thinking, doesn't that smell terrible? Won't raccoons dig up my whole garden trying to get to it? That's exactly what I thought the first time I heard about this. And here's the answer the old Appalachian farmers figured out centuries before I did. To keep animals out, raccoons, possums, neighborhood dogs, you need to mask the scent at the soil surface. Not eliminate it. Just confuse it. The old method is dead simple. Before you close up your planting hole, scatter a thick layer of pine needles or dried oak leaves directly on top of your soil, right over the spot where the fish is buried. The tannins in pine needles and oak leaves put out a strong, distinctive scent that confuses the animals. They can sense something is there, but they can't locate it precisely. Combined with the soil depth, 6 to 8 inches down, the fish is effectively invisible to them. I've been using this method for years. Never lost a plant to digging. Not once. Now let's talk about what you actually see above ground. Because results are what keep us gardening. By the end of week 1, most people don't notice a dramatic difference. The seedling settles in. The roots start to reach down toward the decomposing fish. Week 2 is when it starts. The leaves deepen in color. That rich, dark green that tells you the nitrogen is moving. New growth accelerates. You can almost watch it happen day by day. By week 3, the difference between a fish-planted tomato and a regular one is undeniable. The fish plant is visibly larger. More flower clusters. Thicker stems. A root system that's already twice as developed. I've heard from gardeners in rural Georgia who hit 7-foot tomato plants before the end of July. Using nothing but fish scraps, rainwater, and sunlight. In Kentucky, a man told me his pepper plants were so loaded with fruit he had to stake them twice. He's been doing the fish method for 30 years. Learned it from his grandmother, who learned it from hers. In Missouri, a woman who gardens in containers on her apartment balcony tried this with canned sardines in a 5-gallon bucket. Her tomatoes produced until the first hard frost of November. None of these people are doing anything exotic. None of them are spending money on specialty products. They're just doing what American farmers knew how to do before someone convinced us all that we needed to buy something in a bag to grow our own food. That's not a miracle. That's just biology, working exactly the way it always has. Here's something I want you to sit with for a second before you go. Your grandparents knew this. Their grandparents knew this. It wasn't a secret, it was just Tuesday. Just normal life. The way food was always grown in this country. Somewhere between the 1950s and right now, we got sold a story. A story that said the soil needed us to buy things. That growing food was complicated. That you needed a degree or a special product or the right equipment. You don't. You need a shovel. You need some kitchen scraps. You need a little bit of patience. And you need to trust that the earth knows how to do its job, if you give it what it needs. Before you close this video, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Tell me, have you ever tried this? Did your grandparents grow food this way? Do you have an old family technique, something your grandmother taught you, something from where you grew up, that you've never seen on YouTube? This knowledge belongs to all of us. And I want to preserve it. And if you want to see what Depression-era farmers in Kansas buried under their corn during the worst drought in American history, something so simple it almost sounds like a joke, that video is coming next week. I'll see you there. Bonus tip, the secret. Use catfish heads specifically whenever you can get them. Catfish have a significantly higher natural oil content than most other freshwater fish, and that oil is what drives the slow, sustained nitrogen release that feeds your plants across 6 full weeks instead of 3 or 4. In the South and across the Midwest, catfish scraps are often completely free from local fish markets and small fish fry operations. Walk in on a Friday afternoon, late in the day, right before closing, and ask if they have scraps to give away. Most of the time they'll hand you a bag rather than deal with disposal. If you're not near a fish market, check the Asian grocery stores in your area. They process whole fish daily and often have heads and frames available for next to nothing. And if fresh fish isn't accessible at all, water-packed canned sardines or mackerel work as a reliable substitute. 1 can per planting hole. No oil. No salt. Just the fish. This one substitution alone has allowed apartment balcony gardeners and urban container growers across the country to use this method year-round, regardless of where they live or what's available locally. Common mistake, avoid this. Burying the fish too shallow. This is the single most common mistake, and it turns a brilliant technique into a disaster. Less than 4 inches down and 3 things happen almost immediately. First, the smell comes through the soil surface and every animal within a quarter mile knows exactly where to dig. Second, it dries out before it has a chance to break down properly. You lose most of the nutritional benefit. Third, the partially decomposed matter sits too close to your seedling's root zone during the most aggressive decomposition phase, which can actually damage tender young roots. 6 to 8 inches minimum. That's the rule. That's always been the rule. The depth is the whole game. It determines whether the fish becomes a slow-release feeding system or just an expensive mistake that costs you your seedlings and your patience. When in doubt, go deeper. 10 inches won't hurt anything. 8 inches is the sweet spot. 4 inches or less and you're better off composting it separately and adding it later. The old farmers didn't measure. They knew by feel. Get a good planting stick or use your arm as a guide. Elbow to wrist is roughly 8 inches for most people. That's your measuring tool. Simple. Free. Already on your body.